Okay, we are good to go. Let me do the audio check here real quick. Okay, we're good. Okay, we're good. Share this out to Twitter. Of course, oh, definitely Rye Guy. The problem is now we're playing the Astros tomorrow, who are playing really well lately. So it could be kind of rough, even though we did well in this series, man. Okay. So our objective is to get two more level ups so we can get our IQ high enough to dual wield with katanas. I mean, if that was the case, Santi, wouldn't he be okay going literally anywhere? Oh boy. Yeah, our outfield is not playing well today. Good lord. Our defensive outfield is really bad today. Max will be along a little later, by the way. He won't be here for a super long time, but he'll be here. Okay.
To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to wield the meteoric ore blade. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
uh, uh, did you see what I said to Rye Guy about tanking?
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree.
Like, a lot of people, because this is something that applies to all sports, because by this point in time, we can all pretty much admit it, tanking is real in every sport. And the thing is that tanking is not just when your team is bad. Because there's always going to be bad teams. There are always going to be teams that are worse than the others, whether that's through front office incompetence or because important players got injured at the wrong times or, any number of things. But tanking is when you do the shit that Sam Hinkie did, where anytime you have a player who plays decently, you immediately trade him for as many draft picks as you can possibly get, and you intentionally draft guys who are projected to miss their first season so that you can keep sucking and keep getting high draft picks.
Yeah, or like, remember when the Warriors would lose their pick to the Jazz if it was below 7, so they tanked to make sure they got 7 exactly? And Steven
Yeah.
was, like, super butthurt about it?
Yeah.
That was pretty
You got
fucking
shit
funny.
shit like that. And of course everybody bitches about the NBA, but I'll never be able to forget when when Andrew Luck was projected, the obvious number 1 overall slam dunk pick, and you had people chanting suck for luck. Like,
Yeah, I think smart fans know that, like, okay, 1 year of pain equals 15 years of having a top 5 quarterback. Like, this is an easy trade to make.
right.
And after all that bitching from Steven, all the Warriors did with that pick was take Harrison Barnes, who was I don't know about a
Yeah.
bust, but he wasn't very good.
Yeah, I mean, he was really easy for them to replace when he left, and that's pretty much like one of the worst things that you can say as a player is that you're easy to replace.
Yeah. Speaking of busts, the other day I was on Wikipedia and I read through Anthony Bennett's career. I forgot how quickly he was out of the league. Like he lasted 1 year in Cleveland.
Yeah, that's why he's pretty much like one of the biggest busts of all time for the NBA at least,
Yeah.
because not only was he out of the league so fucking fast, but people try to excuse it by saying, well, the 2013 draft class was really bad and blah blah blah. They said that at the time, but the benefit of hindsight shows us the 2013 draft class was actually really fucking good. In a lot of ways, it was much better than the 2014 draft class, which everyone was filleting themselves over. But taking Bennett first overall with all that other talent on the board is just excruciating at this point. I mean, just about everybody who got taken was worth more than him, but you had plenty of guys who were still in the league and contributing way more too. You had Michael Carter Williams was the fucking rookie of the year that year because again he was balling out on that shitty Sixers team. But
C.J. McCollum, Giannis.
right, C.J. McCollum was on that in that draft class. Obviously, Giannis is the best player to come out of that draft class. You got Oladipo, Nerlens Noel, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope are still contributing meaningfully for the teams that they're on. KCP just won a ring as a very important contributor to the Nuggets. Dennis Schroeder, of course, Rudy Gobert. There was a
Gobert,
ton.
Hall of Famer.
It's hard to say. I think no, because he doesn't contribute enough offensively. But if he plays for a long enough period of time, I would possibly think yes.
Mm-hmm. Like he's one of the 10 best defensive players ever, probably.
Yes, he is absolutely phenomenal as a defender, and based off of that, yeah. Three-time All-Star and one All-NBA second-team selection with three All-NBA third-team selections. So that's three-time All-Star, four All-NBAs, three-time Defensive Player of the Year, six-time All-Defensive First Team. Surprisingly, he only led the league in blocks once, but I'm going to look at his career stats so far. He's still, he could probably still play for another maybe 7 or 8 seasons if he manages to stay healthy. And you can't teach 7 foot tall. So he's at about 8,000 career rebounds right now. He should cross into 10,000. He's not a very prolific scorer, but he's averaged 15 a game through his whole career. That's not awful.
Yeah,
By any stretch of the imagination. He should probably finish his career with over 10,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, and probably around 2,500 blocks. Between that and the other accolades that he's already got, six defensive first team selections, 4 All NBA selections, 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, and a 3-time All Star. I would say, honestly, yes. And then it pushes it over just a little bit. His international accolades. I hadn't even realized this because the 2020 Olympics was such a fucking shit show in terms of the rescheduling and everything, but France actually took home the silver.
Mm.
So he's got a silver medal for being on the 2020 French Olympic basketball team. He's got for the FIBA World Cup, 2014 bronze, 2019 the bronze, and then Eurobasket, 2015 a bronze, and 2022 a silver. So that's not bad. Assuming that he continues to play, because he is 7 feet tall, he may have a catastrophic injury in the next few seasons that just takes him down, because sometimes that happens. Um, if that's the case, then he's maybe fringe. But if he manages to stay healthy and keep playing at the level he has for just a few more years, then he should definitely make it. Because right now, if he retired today, Basketball Reference Hall of Fame probability's got him at 21%. So
He's got work to do. I feel like he'll
yeah,
get there though.
yeah, he's almost there.
But yeah, late last night I was randomly surfing through Wikipedia looking at stuff, and I saw that court case, and I thought you might be amused by it.
It was hilarious. I genuinely cannot believe that the dude spent a week in jail for shitting himself in a federal building. I mean, I know that there was more to it than that, but that's literally what he could have told people. And what are you in for? Well, I was in a federal building and I shit myself.
Isn't that worth it though? Like a week in jail, probably not even like pound me in the ass jail.
Right. Yeah. That was easily like just like county lockup. When you usually see portrayals of people going to jail, when it's not like Oz or anything where it's like based around being in prison.
Mhm.
But instead, when people just get like, they quickly get pinched and they're just there for the weekend. That's basically the kind of jail where folks end up.
Mhm.
It's like far from being a big deal.
Mhm.
Obviously, not something that you want to go through, but in the grand scheme of correctional facilities, way better than actually being in prison. Um, My favorite part, though, was the dissenting opinion written by a judge, where the judge is all like, that didn't look like it was intentional because it wasn't smeared the same way that you would imagine it would look like if it was finger paints. Instead, it looked like chunky peanut butter." I'm sitting there like, dude, imagine being a judge on a bench at such a high level that the only higher court you could possibly get promoted to would be the fucking Supreme Court of the United States. And for all the hard work and effort and everything that you put into your life and career up to that point, to literally write the dissenting opinion.
About yeah, that's an all timer, man.
About poop. That is fucking fascinating.
I like the part that was like he went through security, pooped, and then was escorted to the bathroom in that order. Like it actually laid out the timeline. Okay, I do not want to do this fight right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm looking right at him, so we're going to say it's like right there. And we're going to come back to him a little bit later after I have leveled up, because I just need to kill a couple of turds here, and I think I can level. Ah. So anyway, how was your day?
All right.
Right, guy, I've never really played Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, but I've watched a playthrough on YouTube, which is basically like playing it because it's a choose-your-own-adventure game. You can basically, for all intents and purposes, play Plumbers Don't Wear Ties by watching a YouTube playthrough of it. So more or less, let's just say I have. One time the game FAQ's message board for that game tracked down the actress from that game and started like harassing her in email.
Yes.
She took it in good humor. She had a sense of humor about the whole thing.
Interesting.
Do 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 do. So yeah, so far Brandon Miller is fouling in the summer league more than Greg Oden did, and Greg Oden was like the worst fouler ever in summer league history back when he was in his rookie. It was either his rookie year or his second year.
That is fantastic.
And it's kind of understandable for an inexperienced big man to foul a lot because you're constantly around the basket when players are driving. But for a perimeter wing player to foul that much is pretty weird. A lot of people think that Michael Jordan drafted Brandon Miller because he didn't give a crap anymore and just wanted to give the franchise one final FU on the way out.
Now, I can understand that, but from what I was reading, like Scoot is obviously the better player,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no real question of that. However, the concern was, and what a lot of their sports media was coming out with, and what they were talking about, and all this is that they were worried he wouldn't be a good fit next to LaMelo, and they were also worried that drafting him would scare LaMelo in terms of like, oh yeah, he's your replacement.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. I just
So
wonder. Yeah.
so they were thinking they wanted to get some guy who could complement him more, and someone who was very clearly a Robin. But
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of LaMelo. I think he's might be this decade's like white chocolate, a player who's really really fun to watch and does really cool stuff, but isn't efficient enough to really be a great player.
yeah, I definitely agree with you there. LaMelo really reminds me of a lot of the kinds of players that back in the 80s and 90s and even the early to mid 2000s, the kind of guy that people would look at and be like, well, damn. Look at that right there. That guy, he's a good player, but he's actually not. I not in terms of him not being talented, but it's all like the way that he plays doesn't translate into wins.
Yeah,
It's just
Steve
it's
Francis, Stephon Marbury, like those
right.
guys.
The kind of guy you look at and he passes the eye test, but he doesn't pass the actual winning games test. The kind of guy who should take some test.
Although, hey, White Chocolate won a ring eventually.
Yes.
I was looking it up. He played terrible in those finals. Honestly, everybody on that Heat team except for Wade and to a certain extent Alonzo Mourning was not very good in those finals.
Yeah, it's kind of a miracle that we pulled it out, but
Yeah.
I'll fucking take it.
Mm-hmm.
Based.
Shaq shot like 28% on his fucking free throws or something. It was like, oh my god.
El Meow. Yes.
Yeah, you know, Santi, that's interesting because, like, what if the Blazers had taken Brandon Miller? Would Dame then be like, okay, let's go? Maybe he's doing this partially because he feels like he got replaced.
Well, it's not even that so much as, again, when you read the stuff that's been coming out here, front office completely mismanaged everything. Up until 2 days before the draft, they were telling Lillard, we're going to trade the pick for more help. And Lillard already said he wanted them to re-sign Jeremy Grant and he wanted them to go get Draymond. This is before free agency even starts because this is before the draft happens. Up until 2 days before the draft, they're saying, hey, we're going to trade this pick so that we can get you more help. Then all of a sudden, 2 days before the draft, Cronin comes in and he starts saying, all right, we're thinking we're actually going to keep the pick. And Lillard's like, wait a minute. Why would you do that? You've been telling me for, ever since the lottery that you're going to trade this for some more help. Why would you keep the pick? They didn't tell him who they were going to take. So all of a sudden on draft night, they pulled a fucking rug out from under him and they draft Scoot. So he's like, okay, so you guys told me you were going to trade the pick for more help. You kept it, and then you also drafted the guy who's going to replace me. And at this point, he's all like, okay, so what the hell are you guys going to do in free agency? They're like, well, just you wait. We're going to make sure that you that you get those things that you asked for. They re-signed Jeremy Grant, but they completely fucking whiffed on Draymond. They never had a chance at getting Dre. And after he sees all this shit, Lillard's like, you know what, dude? It's pretty fucking clear the direction you guys are heading. Then just fucking trade me. I want out. Send me to Miami. And then the whole clusterfuck started from there. But like, it really did Lillard dirty because they were telling him for a number of weeks, almost months, that they were going to trade that pick. And then right at the midnight hour, they not only keep the pick, but they draft his obvious replacement.
Yeah. I just find it hilarious that they still re-signed Jeremy Grant to that obscene contract. Like,
Yeah.
talk about wanting a do-over. But, like, I can't really blame a 32-year-old point guard with a lot of miles on him for not wanting to be part of a rebuild. Like, I get it. It's not like he's 26. He's 32. He's like, I might only have 3 good years left at most.
Right. And he'll be 33 during most of this next season. Not only that, but, and this is the one that keeps getting brought up a lot from people, Heat fans who are like, is this really the best move for us? Is that when he's 36, he's going to be making $64 million. That's a shitload of money. And that's a shitload of your cap space.
Yeah.
So...
Gotta break some eggs.
And exactly what you're talking about. I'm sitting there like, okay, look, if we win at least one championship, I'm happy here. If we win multiple, I would pay that $64 million myself.
That's a lot of hours on the fucking glory hole.
Yes. Say that again. Goddamn.
And you know what? In a couple years, you can trade him to a team that wants a giant expiring contract. Like...
Right. Like, right now, I'm pretty sure a team like the Pistons would love to have a 1 year, for 1 year, an expiring deal that's $64 million. They're like, oh, dude, thank God. We can easily exceed the cap floor so that we don't need to worry about any more of this shit because somebody's got to get paid. Plus, we can sell tickets by being like, look, Damian Lillard, how about that? And we're still going to suck ass, so... What a nice meme. Anyway, check your DMs real quick before I get going for work here. I gotta.
Oh, okay. Wait, when are you leaving?
In about instead of calculating time at 9:15.
Oh, okay. We got a little bit of time here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I got you.
Thank you. Yeah, I was fucking surprised on the second one. I it came out of fucking left field. All of a sudden, my mom's texting me. She's like, "Hey, you need to clean your bathroom." I'm like, "Why? You don't use it." She's like, "Well, actually, I do now." I was like, "Oh no, dude, I hate I hate sharing bathrooms with people. Let me tell you.
Hmm. I mean, who doesn't, right? I mean, I don't think that's something that anybody really gets a kick out of.
Right. You know, it's the hell. Even when it's somebody that you love dearly, that's like a big instigator of couples fights. Is
Hmm.
something to do with the bathroom.
Hmm.
Anyway, I haven't been playing it for a while now here, since the sale happened. Um, I definitely give two thumbs way up for Crusader Kings 3. Real good game.
How would you compare it to two now that you've had a full
Well,
opportunity to?
right, like I said, two just has way more content because it has so many extra years of development.
Mhm.
So two is just a much richer game. But three has an excellent foundation, and there's no doubt in my mind that if it got the opportunity to have the DLC that that two did, then three would be, excuse me, vastly superior.
And yeah, I like Crusader Kings 2 quite a bit, although there's a lot to keep track of in that game. Like, there's a lot going on in that game. What the hell? They can spit over that long of a distance? Okay, I'm going to have to get that out of my muscle memory, hitting that button over and over.
Wahoo!
But we are hitting much harder. That's really what counts.
Exactly.
Yeah. That, that's actually one of the reasons we might be building an extension to this house that I would take up residence in. That way, my parents would each get their own bathroom. Because there are two bathrooms in this house and three people.
Uh,
And it's not always the greatest arrangement, although we mostly make it work. I think that's something they're kind of excited about.
I would be too, because it's just something that's like nice, you know. It's,
Yeah, Big Country, she has to, but we just don't know exactly when. Man, nice swing, Julio.
all right, I'm going to send you more DMs here because I'm not sure if this is something I can actually talk about
Oh,
uh,
okay.
right now. So hold on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fine. Not right now, no.
All right.
Mhm.
Yeah, because the whole thing reminded me as you were talking about that. I was like, wait a minute. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's funny because being somebody that lives in California, I look all across the country and I'm all like, I'd rather be anywhere other than here. But then you start thinking about where to go, and you're like, there's just so many choices
Mhm.
because there's just so many places in the world that are not California. I never understand it anytime anybody's like, "Oh, I want to go there. I always wanted to live in California." I'm like, "You always wanted to live in what you think California is like. This is a place you visit. It's not a place you live." This, God,
There are a lot of places like that.
damn sure.
Oh, oh, I thought he got into that a little bit more. Oh, he actually got that really far out there. Oh, that would have been nice. Rewrite. Almost a rewrite. Anywho. So, Mel Gibson's new movie outgrossed Indiana Jones this weekend.
Fucking nice.
Which is crazy because the Mel Gibson movie is only in half as many theaters as Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I'm super happy to hear that because that Mel Gibson movie, it's they made that movie 5 years ago, dude. And they have been trying for the last 5 fucking years to be able to get that movie actually published and produced. That's bonkers. Because a lot of this, like it, in terms of the context too, like a lot of the movie is talking about the child trafficking and everything. A large portion of it also has to do with it coming out of Ukraine.
Hmm.
And this isn't a new thing by any means. This is before the war. Because they made this movie 5 years ago. So finally, after 5 years, they managed to get somebody to want to fucking publish this film. And they finally do, and it outgrossed the new Indiana Jones movie. That is phenomenal. I'm super happy to hear that.
It's not hard to figure out where Mel Gibson got rich from. Like, that's easy. But how did he get, like, fuck you money like this? Because he lives on his own island and he can do whatever the hell he wants to do, like produce a movie like this. Like, where did that come from? Because it's not like he was ever in something like Star Wars or Marvel, so.
What I think it was is he did very similar to what George Lucas did with Star Wars, and what Robert Downey Jr. did with the Marvel movies, where he had a very favorable contract in terms of the royalties and everything that he was going to get. So, keeping in mind, he made the highly popular, highly successful films Braveheart, Apocalypto, and The Passion of the Christ.
Yeah,
So even
Passion of the
after
Christ made money. Yeah, that's true.
so even after all these years, he's probably still getting incredibly favorable royalties
Hmm.
because of the contract that he signed all those years ago. And he did make those, like Braveheart's one of the best movies ever, one of the most popular movies ever. So all that shit.
I didn't think it was a box office tour de force, though. Like, it's rated R, so it's got a decent chunk of the audience cut off. Hmm.
See here.
I know Passion of the Christ made crazy money.
Oh
And
my, yeah.
I guess Lethal Weapon did too, now that I think about it.
So let's see here. Braveheart was the 13th highest grossing film of 1995 and grossed $210 million worldwide when it was in theaters. Uh, but it's absolutely an incredibly popular movie long after, in the home media and everything. It's supposedly one of the most popular Blu-ray movies ever. And that's what I'm talking about with the royalties and him being able to continue making super money from it.
Yeah, it seems like he can basically just do whatever the hell he wants to do at this point.
I'm gonna check. Hold on.
Like, I don't think Hacksaw Ridge made a lot of money, but that was like a passion project for him. It didn't really matter about the money.
Not only that, but the big one there is that it was his triumphant return to filmmaking.
Right.
So he didn't care so much about how much money it actually made. He just wanted the film to do well. And as long as well was achieved, you know. However, I will check.
What is up?
Hey,
Hey,
Nicholas,
Nick.
how you doing?
Let's see here.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Not a heck of a
Section.
lot.
Still playing Elden Ring?
Yeah. Hacksaw Ridge coming out in 2016, I think it was. Had a worldwide gross of $180 million. It massively exceeded expectations though because it opened alongside Doctor Strange. So people thought that it was gonna do really badly in comparison there.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good for a movie like that, a rated R movie that's got controversy behind it. I can dig that. And Hacksaw Ridge was my favorite movie that year, I remember.
Definitely wonderful, wonderful movie. Amazing soundtrack too. So Mel Gibson's net worth is $425 million.
Right.
Sheesh.
I would call that fuck you money.
Yeah.
Especially when, and this is another thing, is that the production budgets for the movies that he's making really aren't that high. So what that means is a lot of the gross for him when he makes these movies, a lot of it's profit.
Makes sense. Yeah. But like again, the only franchise he's ever really been a part of that's really successful is Lethal Weapon. And I don't think those were ever successful in the way that movies like, Star Wars were, of course.
Yeah.
That is a good point to bring up too. Is that Lethal Weapon still is very popular all these years later. I really feel like because of the long period of time he had where he was blackballed from Hollywood, that the money he's got is because of royalties. That's what I think.
Yeah, makes sense.
He hasn't invested in anything, has he?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to look into it right now. I googled how does Mel Gibson have so much money.
Hmm. Yeah, it's funny. I was watching Shark Tank earlier, and I sort of realized Mark Cuban's rich enough to buy out the rest of them combined. Right?
I would think so.
And he got his money basically off the dot-com bubble.
Right.
It looks like even though he was blackballed from the industry, during this time period, he wasn't allowed to make movies. However, he still contributed as an investor. So I think because we can all sit here and say that Mel Gibson's actually intelligent, and he knows what he's doing. I think he tacked himself on to some really successful films. There's no list, but that's just me guessing. He probably picked the right ones and got some good money there.
Yeah, kind of like how Spielberg puts his name on pretty much every movie that ever has been made.
Right. Yeah, here we go. Mel Gibson invested $50 million of his own money into the creation of The Passion of the Christ and negotiated in the contract to receive 50% of the profits. He earned over $300 million just from The Passion of the Christ alone, and that's when it was out in theaters. We're not even talking about royalties after. Oh.
Yeah, that was a very
Just
difficult movie to make.
Just to put all that into perspective, Mel Gibson was paid $500 a week for Mad Max.
The original?
The original, yes, which was not as popular as The Road Warrior, but still.
Oh, that's another franchise he's in. I completely forgot about Mad Max.
Yeah. I
I heard
think
The
I think
Passion of
he's even
Christ is a difficult movie to watch.
Oh, it is.
it's extremely violent. So yeah, I
Mhm.
totally buy it there.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
It's fine.
yeah.
I didn't have anything important to say
It's
anyway.
not the movie though.
Yuck, yuck, yuck.
I think it was like the History Channel. There was a movie where Satan was depicted as somebody who looked exactly like Obama. I think it was on the History Channel, but that wasn't Passion of the Christ. Passion of the Christ had Satan depicted as like some androgynous pale figure. But
That was black.
no, it was actually it was an albino, apparently played by a woman, but it was intentionally designed to be androgynous. Excuse me.
What the
But
fuck is the History Channel doing?
yeah, that was always a pretty funny one. I think it was the History Channel that had the Satan that looked like Obama. It looked more like Obama than the SNL impersonator of Obama did. Anyway, Nicholas, how have you been lately?
I've been okay. Just got done. Uh, worked at a fireworks store for a summer job, and the 4th is over, so I'm fired.
Yay!
Was it lucrative?
It was 14 an hour, and overtime past 40 hours.
Very nice.
So
Oh yeah, for Georgia, that's not bad at all. Georgia's minimum wage is set at the federal level, or is it higher?
it's at the federal level.
So that's almost twice as good as minimum wage. That's pretty. Yeah, that's nice.
It's nice. Yeah, I mean, if if the minimum wage was like $15 an hour, I don't think they'd hire anybody. We were way overstaffed. Anyway.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty much how it is here. Cause like, let me tell you something, man. Just about every business I see, no matter where in California I go, no matter what city, just about every business is help wanted, and they're like begging for people. But the thing is they might sit there having the appearance of being a business is hat in hand looking for workers. They're not. They don't want to hire anybody because they have to pay way too fucking much in payroll costs. It's
Mhm.
just too much right now. And it is like pulling teeth trying to get even a 25-cent raise at this point, man. Like I'm fucking arguing with my boss right now because the amount of time I've been with the job, according to the way that like there's no contract or anything, but the way that it's been at this business for years has been when you work for a certain amount of time, you get a raise. And I was like, hey, is that gonna happen here? And they're like, nah, that's not really happening. And I'm all like, dude, like, come the fuck on.
Mhm.
All I'm asking for, like, the only raise I'm looking for right now is 50 cents. That's what it is. It's 50 cents.
Oh,
And
four
even that's
dollars
just
a shift.
exactly. Even that is too much. Even that is too much. Even that is like absolutely bonkers. And it gets even crazier because minimum wage keeps going up to the point where it's all like, well, we're not going to bother raising the fucking, we're not going to give you a raise. We're just going to wait it out until minimum wage goes up again.
Mm.
Like it's nuts. But I think in 2024, California minimum wage is supposed to be at $16 an hour, and I'm sitting there like, you know what? Keep raising that fucking minimum wage, and people think, yeah, that's fantastic, $16 an hour for doing an easy bullshit nothing minimum wage job, and I'm all
Yeah.
like, these fucking cost of goods and everything going up so high. I'm like, holy shit, dude! Like,
It's bad. I saw something. People are saying like if the minimum wage had kept in lockstep with inflation since it was instituted, it'd be like $23 or something like that. You got to remember, like, the economy now compared to the 90s, not even the 90s, but like the 80s and 70s, it's way worse. We have a lot more competition now for, especially any type of union job where you're manufacturing something. It's just cold hard facts. America can't do it as cheaply as other nations can.
Right.
Yeah, do you have any idea how much an iPhone would cost if it was made in America instead of China?
It'd be over $1,000. Because it's as expensive as it is right now, being made by a fucking 4-year-old somewhere. Ugh. Lord.
I don't know. Hopefully, at least shit will get moved out of China itself. But it's just going to be moved to Mexico or Vietnam or whatever.
See, it's funny because when Trump was in office, I was like, these jobs are going to leave China so that they can come back to the United States, because Trump is making such a flourishing economy, and he's making it so good for businesses to actually come back here. Now, what's actually happening with the usurper in office is that businesses will leave China because World War III is going to start, and they're not going to be. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't really know if America's ever going to do manufacturing again. It's like, what can you produce here that you can't produce for like 10 times cheaper in Mexico? And there's NAFTA, so there's really no difference. And, you know, they might not be as educated, but, you know, that's a good thing for them.
Yeah.
God damn, worthless teammates. Oh, wait a minute, he's alive. Please don't die. Please don't die. Come on, I need you. Oh, wait, no, he is dead. God fucking damn it. Why are my teammates so worthless?
I've had this exact same discussion with myself so many times in my life.
I don't know what's next. Maybe if we can get Trump back in office, it's about as likely as... I'm trying to think of something really unlikely here, but I don't know if it's going to work out for him.
Yeah. It is hard times.
Yeah.
Will the hard times create strong men, though?
I don't think so.
One thing I really liked in Crusader Kings 2 compared to 3 is that in Crusader Kings 2 you had different methods of torture that you could do to prisoners. You know, like you had the ability. The Byzantines used to love doing this in real life. Have people struck blind. They used to fucking love doing that. That was in Crusader Kings 2. You could do that. You could maim somebody. You could just like, here, I'm gonna chop off your hand. You could castrate him and make him a eunuch, and shit like that. And I loved all that because in Crusader Kings 3 here, I'm just looking at it now. You have the choice of you could execute someone, ransom them, negotiate their release, move them to the dungeon, or torture them. And I'm all like, I want to specifically just like castrate this guy before I send him out for ransom back to his liege. Very amusing.
Yeah, it's kind of bullshit that's not in there.
It's not in there yet. We'll get there.
Yep. The power of modding.
But yeah, the power of modding has already made some horrifying things happen already. But I'm just playing vanilla right now.
Well, that was close, but my useless teammate was unable to help me see that through. The good news is we're almost there. When I got the job that I currently have, I negotiated so well for my initial salary that I didn't get a raise for like 4 years because they needed, they needed other people who were underpaid to like kind of catch up. They couldn't
Mm-hmm.
just so I didn't even really mean to negotiate that well on my, but I guess
Yeah.
it happened.
Maybe you're just very charismatic.
Right.
Based.
Yeah. Yeah. Any snacks? Any plans to move out of California though?
Oh, it's a done deal in terms of I absolutely know that I will, but at this point in my life, I'm nowhere near financially secure enough to be able to do that. Um, I hope I can someday,
Mm-hmm.
but not looking good for right now.
Oh. Uh,
I am
sorry to
trapped in this hellhole forevermore.
sorry to put you on such a downer, dudes.
It's fine. I've
He
already
could
been here
always
for
just
a
go
long time.
somewhere and live out of his car and hope things work out.
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing. If I believed in myself, there's no doubt in my mind I'd be able to just leave right now and then find a way to make it work. The thing is that I left California once before in my life, and it really went badly for me. So because of that, I had to move back in with my folks and everything. Because of that, I'm really gun shy about trying it again. I'm like, I really want to make sure that I'm fucking set this time instead of just go and hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't really try to do anything in this world without leaving open the possibility that things aren't going to work out, and bad shit can happen. But it's not something that you want to have happen either.
Yeah. Well, you don't have any family that lives out of California, like
No.
not in the state. No,
No.
they're all a bunch of West Coasters.
Those who do live outside of California, we're on extremely bad terms with. Now, I don't have, I'm not on bad terms with any of these folks, but they basically don't know me at all. So all of a sudden, I just show up on their doorstep and be like, "Hey, can I crash here for a while?" They're like, am I even related to you? Or just some guy?" Like,
It worked in There Will Be Blood.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, totally, that'll work.
Based.
Oh my god, every teammate just dies when he still has half HP. What is wrong with you people? Why do you suck so much?
You know why?
Oh, it's true. The military-industrial complex does need to come back.
Exactly.
I feel like that would be ideal for America.
Based.
Yeah, so we really need is another war in Iraq. They definitely got WMDs this time.
Wahoo.
No, seriously, I told him my brother is going to be working at an Air Force base, sort of as a subcontractor-ish,
Nice.
But
It's a
they
living.
agreed to hire him all the way back. All the way back in like April or something like that. And they still haven't brought him on board or gotten their shit worked out. One, because it's the government, and two, because there's possible shutdowns coming. So he's just sort of been waiting around, not doing anything for several months and he's just now getting a background check, and it's going to take another month, like several months, for him to actually start. Yeah, government sucks ass. What can you say?
Is he still getting paid, or how does this work?
No, they're not paying him.
No.
He's just sitting around doing jack squat.
Alright, we're gonna get him this time. I feel good about this one. Oh, this guy's even casting buffs on me. Very nice. Alright, let's get this fucker. Oh god. Why am I getting invaded so much, dude? I'm just trying to kill a really hard boss. Leave me alone. My god, Elden Ring players are mean. And speaking of mean, that is an incredibly bullshit move. Oh my god. Okay. This is getting really fucking annoying. And I'm about to run out of furled fingers. Oh yeah, so, Nicholas, I linked snacks to this last night. Let me get the link for you. You can take a look at this one. You might find this amusing. I'm going to DM it to you.
Take a look at it in a second. What is it about?
It's a court case from 2013. The short version is a guy like shit all over a bathroom in a courthouse, and he got sentenced to 7 days in jail, and there was there was a court case over it, and it's pretty fucking funny that a court case got
Man really just went to a courthouse to shit all over the place.
Based.
Just wait till you get to the part where the dissenting opinion was written. That's the best part.
Hold on. He filed an appeal to the Supreme Court and he was denied.
Which I'm really disappointed in. I would have loved to have seen what the Supreme Court would have ruled on that one.
Was it a deliberate act or did he just shit himself?
Well, the dissenting opinion, which will show up a little bit later in the article, basically lays out why they think it was an accident. And it's a relatively compelling argument.
Yeah. I mean, some parts of me, like, you ever just out in a public place, you think, like, what if I just slap somebody? Or, you know, just what if I just shit myself? Or you just do something wild like that? You ever have those type of thoughts?
Not really. How about you, Snacks?
If I ever had type of thoughts about what?
Like just shitting yourself in public to see what happens?
Yeah, or just slapping somebody randomly just to see what would happen, or...
The intrusive thoughts where you're like, oh man, I'm off my meds again.
Yeah, what would
Is that what you mean?
happen if you actually did it, though? This man found out he'd get several days in jail and get denied from the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I mean, I know what would happen if I did the thing where you like you just sit there and think, man, I'd love to go honk honk.
Well, what's the Bill Burr bit about how, like, have you ever thought about when you're driving, you could just, like, angle
Yeah, I love that one. It's like, and you sit there and you're driving and then there's a crowded sidewalk, there's a ton of people on the sidewalk for whatever reason, and you're just sitting there thinking, you know what, if I move my hand just a few inches to the right, I'm on the 6 o'clock news. And what's the difference between just a few degrees of that wheel being in one direction or the other? If you're holding it at 12 o'clock... Oh, well, gee, you and Jenna, do you think you're going to come to the barbecue next weekend? You should bring some of that potato salad. It was such a big hit last time. 5 degrees to the right. Showed no signs of stopping whatsoever. A complete maniac. One of the worst days that this city has ever seen. Back to 12 o'clock. Have you ever noticed how sometimes they don't mow their lawn and it really throws the whole neighborhood out of whack, as that yard just stands out so much more? A complete psychopath. Oh God, one of the worst displays of contempt for human life that this nation has ever seen.
I will say, when I'm driving on like the freeway, it's kind of important that I don't think too hard about what I'm doing. I'm like in a little metal box driving, well, not even metal, but a box moving at 60 miles an hour. If I think about that too long, I freak myself out. So I kind of just have to be,
Yeah, and the only thing that's stopping somebody from just going with a head-on collision is a bit of pain on the ground.
Right.
So that's a comforting thought. That reminds me of have y'all ever seen that dude saying, "I'm about to bomb this whole motherfucking plane"?
I don't think I have.
Oh, good Lord.
I gotta show this to you.
Like this guy's moveset.
This dude let the intrusive thoughts win. Yeah, imagine if you did that though. You get kicked out immediately, but it'd be kind of fun.
No, that's kind of like what the Burger King guy on the plane did, basically. He decided, I'm just going to give in to my baser instincts here. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, what would happen if I actually just started screaming the N-word in the middle of class one day?
Oh, boy.
Like, would my entire life be ruined?
Yes.
It would be, yeah. That's the crazy thing about it, just like, I could end my whole life in 5 seconds.
Or you could go on to be worth $450 million like Mel Gibson.
That's a good... That's a good point.
In a 1999 episode of The Simpsons, Mel Gibson is a guest star, and the plot is he's trying to figure out, he's annoyed because everybody likes him, and he's trying to figure out a way to get people to not like him. I guess he figured it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
What's another guy who's made a lot of money and been very successful despite saying the N-word?
I can't think of any.
Well,
Didn't Josh Allen get in trouble for some racist tweets or something like that?
Yeah.
From high school?
All he tweeted was, he said, like, if it ain't white, it ain't right. It was pretty clearly sarcastic. Oh, PewDiePie. PewDiePie said the N-word one time, and he's very successful.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
tremendous.
Morgan Wallen. I've never heard of Morgan Wallen.
Joe Biden said the N-word during an actual,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, oh god. Who could forget that one, definitely.
I actually have not seen that.
He's quoting somebody, in fairness. Like, I don't want to mischaracterize it, but he does say it.
I've never heard of Morgan Waller either. Yeah. Have you even being like remotely accused of being a racist is a scarlet letter you just can't come back from.
God dang it, we were so close that time. I was actually doing good.
Fuck you, bitch. You lose.
Alright, we're gonna get this guy. Just give me a second, guys. I'll be right back.
The only thing I can think of is that they just change their minds after a day.
Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised about that either.
Yeah. Like they're just indecisive. Like the
Yeah.
only type of people that would be attracted to me, even remotely, are indecisive and unsure of themselves. Which it is a depressing thought, but you know, it is what it is.
I'm counting on my YouTube career to eventually help me in that area. I don't think it's going to go well.
You know, maybe someone that just really... maybe you'll find somebody that's just really into football stats. I don't know, man.
Yeah, here's hoping. We should
I
all
don't-
be
I
so
have-
lucky.
I've never even heard of a woman working for PFF.
I don't know anyone who works for PFF now that I think about it. Except for
I don't know
a
anybody
couple of
personally,
guys
but,
on
like-
Twitter.
Like you hear like PFF analysts talking sometimes. Or you can check
Oh.
out other podcasts, or they bring on a couple of different experts. I've never heard of a single employee of theirs that's a woman. Which is kind of crazy to think about, given that they're one of like the biggest players in the sports media landscape. Not really sports media, but they're one of the biggest players in the sports landscape. And
I remember
entire-
one time people were criticizing, Bill Simmons because his website had like an overwhelming number of like, white males working for it or whatever. Something like that, one of those things. And his reply was basically like, this is a professional website. This isn't open mic night, okay? That was basically what he said. I always thought that was a pretty good reply. And then, of course, people pointed out... Yeah.
Well, maybe if they were all like exclusively white, that would be a thing.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that
a
would
sports
obviously
and
be a
pop
problem.
culture website. And I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
the sports articles are by far the most popular thing on the site. So, like, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Okay, I don't know if this is like a thing or not, but as far as I'm concerned, if you invade another player, and they're trying to do a fucking boss fight against the Black Blade Kindred, and you actually try to kill them, you're a fucking asshole.
That sounds like an asshole thing to do.
Yeah. Like,
It's just like a dick
I remember
thing to
back
do
when
to
I was
try to-
playing, I think it was Dark Souls 2, I was trying to kill this dragon that was really, really hard to kill, and then I got invaded. And then the guy who invaded me messaged me. I was like, yeah, I don't have the heart to attack somebody who's trying to kill that dragon, so see you later. He might have even helped me kill it now that I think about it.
Some people are just fucking dicks. It's the same assholes who like use aimbot. You know, they just don't care about you. They're completely. The only thing they care about is their own.
Like, look at the people who
Enjoyment, I
cheat
guess.
in, like, Fall Guys. Like, what kind of... I mean, like... It's fucking Fall Guys, dude. Why are you cheating in fucking Fall Guys? Like, that...
Because you're a massive dick.
Mm-hmm. Like, on some level, I understand cheating in something like Call of Duty. That at least makes some sense. Like, that's actually, like, really hyper-competitive stuff, but... Okay, I'm gonna try to
Well, then
cheat
you're
this
just
guy.
ruining the fun of people that are trying to be competitive.
Yeah,
Like,
but, like,
I heard this explanation for somebody that cheated in TF2. And used aimbot for sniper. And people are like, what the fuck, why are you doing this? And his response is, oh yeah, I didn't want to sweat as much anymore. Like, if you don't want to sweat trying to play a competitive video game, you know, if you're not in it to try to get better at the core gameplay loop, then what is even the fun of playing the game? You're just being a dick. And the enjoyment you find out of it is being a dick. I I don't really have any other explanation for why you would do that.
I remember cheaters on StarCraft back in the day. They would have like a full fleet of battle cruisers in the first 20 seconds of the match, and
Mhm.
it's like, okay, like I play this game. Like I know how long it's supposed to take to get battle cruisers. Like if you have a full fleet of battle cruisers in the first 20 seconds, I know for a fact that you're cheating. Like why do you think you can get away with this?
I don't know, man.
And that game was good.
Yeah, there used to be this big thing in Rainbow Six Siege where you could pay for this service. This is other video games too, but you could DDoS their internet. You could shut down their internet so they couldn't play in the game anymore, and the other team would lose because of that.
Yeah. People used to do that to
And
Darkside Phil when he was streaming.
yeah, that's just a funny prank. But if you're just doing it to a random dude on the internet, just trying to play a shooter because you want an in-game ranking,
Right. I get
you
it.
are the biggest bitch. And if it ever comes out publicly that you did it, you should be ashamed and humiliated. It's
Yeah.
bad enough to spend I don't know. I was just about to say, like, it's bad enough that you're playing video games, but video games aren't all that bad. But it's bad enough that you're playing video, or it makes you look like a nerd. If you're cheating at video games, it makes you look like a dick and a nerd.
I'm thinking about that guy who did I think it was a Super Mario Brothers speed run in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And like the speed run was just literally made of him like fucking. They spliced together a bunch of other people's speed runs together, and like they took the video of him just holding the controller and hitting random buttons. And for some reason thought that people would fall for that. Like it was pretty fucking funny. And then there was that guy who beat Mario 64 blindfolded. And it was really easy to figure out that he was like... At least that's like a single-player game, I guess. It's not as bad, but... He was still trying to get world famous over, you know, beating a Mario speed record. And... like, he's not even using the tactics that blindfolded speedrunners always have to use. Like, he's playing the game like he can see everything because he can, because his blindfold is made out of mesh or whatever. It's pretty dumb. Pretty bad.
Yeah, I can imagine you doing that just to, I don't know, clickbait.
Because the people who beat Mario 64 blindfolded are insane. Like, the little tricks they figured out to figure out where they are based off sound cues. It's actually insane what they pull off.
Yeah, if you could actually do it and be impressed with shit.
Mario 64 is actually probably the most important game ever for Twitch. Because when Twitch started out, that was like a huge part of the community. I think back when it was Justin TV, it was all about Mario 64 speedruns.
Well, for me, that would make sense as what the, you know, point of the website is to be, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot better than what the site has become now, right?
Yeah, like titty streamers.
Yeah. Precisely.
Or you remember Dream
Yeah.
faking his speedruns?
I thought it was proven that he wasn't faking it.
Well, it wasn't. He was 100% messing with the drop rates.
Oh, okay. That was proven?
Yeah, there's this, there's even this video you can look at where it explained that, him getting the drops that he did in Minecraft, if it was legit, it would take all humans doing Minecraft speedruns for every single second for the next century to get as lucky as he did.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's no way.
Yeah. At that point, you may as well call him Jesus Christ, if he's actually doing that legitimately.
Yes.
Batabon. I remember that shit, yeah. The only game I ever really speed ran was the first Max Payne. I got really, really good at that game. I could beat the whole game in like 45 minutes, which is not anywhere close to the record. But the record speedrun for Max Payne is basically you don't actually play the game. You just do somersaults endlessly through the whole game and skip everything. And I'm like, oh, that's not fucking fun. I don't want to do that. That sounds like something really boring.
Yeah, it's like if you ever watch a Fallout New Vegas speedrun, it's like, what's the point of speedrunning Fallout New Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
I could get it for a Mario game because the whole point is to putting in precise movements, and it's a platformer.
Right. I mean, basically, if you watch people do, like, Super Mario Brothers speedruns, it's always, it's gotten to the point where basically they've memorized exactly what they need to do and when to do it. The only variable is whether or not you get lucky with frames. Like, whether or not you get the right frame buses or not. It's almost like RNG at this point, I think. Yeah, exactly, Big Country. Like, very few speedruns are actually fun. Like, the speedrun for Dark Souls 2 is exploiting a glitch where you can look through your binoculars and do a barrel roll at the same time, and you teleport to wherever you're looking to. And it's like, okay, yeah, you can do that, but it's not fun. Not even close to being fun. Me and Snacks' mutual friend, when we went to a convention a few years ago in Vegas, he speedran Mega Man 3, I think. But that's another game. Like, you actually have to play the game in order to speedrun it. Like, you actually have to go through the levels, you beat the bosses. There's no, like, glitch where you teleport to fight fucking... What's the name of the bad guy in Mega Man? Dr. Wily?
Yeah, it is Dr.
I
Wily.
think, yeah.
Even like Mario platformers, like, you know, in order to speedrun Mario Brothers, you do the warp whistle, so you skip the first 3 worlds, and then you do another one, so you skip to the 8th world. It's like, you're not playing the game. I don't know.
The only exception I can think of is getting over it.
I've heard about that, but I'm really not interested in playing it. It looks like a game. It looks like a game that is designed to intentionally piss people off. I'm not super into that. Mario,
it is, but
yeah.
The way that you would do the game normally is the same as a speedrun. It's just very fast.
Yeah. Mario Kart speedruns are legit. You just play through the game. Like, you're just getting really fast lap times.
That's true. They do have mega skips, though.
Yeah. Do they actually let you skip whole laps, or are they just shortcuts?
It's almost whole laps for some of the, especially for the Wii. If you ever seen any of those summoning salt videos.
I like the old days of like speed runs when people would literally just like record the fucking flip phone camera on the goddamn TV screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was watching a video about like the old days of speed running when that's the only way you could verify shit.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. At least we have cringe compilations of yeah, I forgot. Oh yeah, games done quick.
Jesus Christ, dude. My fucking, my son and primary heir just gave birth to his 4th consecutive daughter. He has no sons. I'm like, dude, come on. He's 35 now. And his wife is 40, son of a bitch.
Well, that's when you do what Henry VIII did, right? And you start killing wives and bringing in new ones, right?
Exactly. That's correct.
Or wasn't that like the Mad Max thing? Like you had 3 chances to produce an heir, and if you didn't do it, it was off to the wastelands.
I don't know. It's been a long time since I watched Fury Road. I think Immortan Joe just wanted to hump, to be honest.
That was a very weird society put to fiction over there. I don't know that there's any apocalypse where people would be drinking breast milk like that.
Haven't you ever wondered how it tastes?
Speaking of how breast milk tastes, I need to get ready to leave for work now, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.
Alright. Yeah, see you, Snacks.
No, I could see that. If that's the only way to get milk, I could see it. Okay, I need...
I don't know about that, man. I don't know. That would seem sus under any circumstances. And there's, as far as I know, there's no tribal cultures that ever did that.
That would surprise
even from
me.
like the Iron Age. Look up,
Well,
back
I'm
in the
sure it's
early
happened
days
at
of,
some point in life. Maybe it's like disgusting or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I could be wrong. It could have been a very ancient practice from somewhere. I could imagine it being disgusting and creepy. There's, really no justification for it. Yeah, it's not like they did it in the Americas. In the Americas, they had nothing to milk before the arrival of Europeans.
Let's see here. Okay, I just sent you something.
Oh God. Oh God.
That's pretty good, I think. I like that one.
It's good, but Jesus Christ. And yeah, that's sort of a weird segue to this other thing, but this week was the birth of my godson.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, my best friend
how'd that go?
just had his first kid. He's in the military, and he's married, but he's even younger than me. So
Yeah,
shit
I
feels weird
I
now.
remember when my friends that were my age or younger than me started having kids. It was interesting.
I would never tell him this, but him saying that honestly sent me to a dark place for a second.
I get that. I kind of been there before. Like I have a
Uh,
friend who's 4 years younger than me, and she has like 4 kids already. It's just kind of freaky.
yeah.
But I'm getting kind of past that now because I am old to the point where it's very common. It was weirder when I was like 23.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It's just weird because I don't know about the chances of me ever having a family like that, you know? Yeah, right guy. I had that experience too. Someone I knew in high school OD'd. And that shit sent me to a dark place. It's just part of growing up, I guess.
I knew a guy who once got declared legally dead, and then they brought him back.
Do you know him personally?
Yeah, he was kind of a coworker for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Not great.
I don't know. It makes a good comparison and contrast. You know, some people you know that are younger than you are, you know, having a wife and kids. But there's also people younger than you that are ODing. So, you know, at least not there.
It's got to at least make you feel a little better about your own life.
Yeah, that's true. Someone's in the chat saying, what did the person say death was like?
Oh, we didn't really ask him that. That's probably not appropriate. I'm sure he wouldn't really be able to answer that anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know how you would describe it. You know? It just seems like an out of body experience that you could never properly convey completely. Can't really put it to words.
I imagine it doesn't really feel like anything, right?
Well, when you die, you're supposed to um what's that drug Joe Rogan was talking about? It's like when you die, all of a sudden you get this rush of is it? It's I think it's MDMA.
I don't know. It's not something that I need to be thinking about right now, I guess. Alright, let's see here. Alright, I had no faith in my
DMT.
previous helpers.
DMT.
Oh, okay.
So apparently, if you want to experience a little bit of what death feels like, take a DMT.
That makes me want to try it.
Well, Joe Rogan talks about how much he likes DMT all the time.
Doesn't he like pretty much every drug? Is there a drug he doesn't like?
I don't know. I would say there's probably not a psychedelic he dislikes, though.
Well, you know that Hitler was on all kinds of drugs, right?
It's true. It's true.
There's that one Joe Rogan clip where he says that to the guest. I don't even know who the guest was. But the guest was saying something about Hitler. And then Joe's just like, well, you know that Hitler was on all kinds of drugs, right?
Yeah, if you ever watch his podcasts, like, a large amount of the content is talking about drugs. And it gets weird after a while. It's sort of like anything, like if you listen to any politics channel, they can't go like 5 seconds without talking about, whatever narrative their party's trying to push. It's like he's the shill for taking
oh, we got him!
psychedelic drugs.
We got his ass. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We got his ass. Thank the sweet Lord Baby Jesus. We got his ass. Okay, anyway.
Great job. Great job. Yeah, it's a good point, right, guy? If you take fentanyl.
Yeah. My favorite anime is Neon Genesis Fentanyllion.
Who's the voice actor? Derek Chauvin. Oh, is this another boss right here?
No. This guy, he eventually turns into a boss, but you have to give him a bunch of items first, and then he eventually snaps on you. But not right now, no. I don't have to worry about this guy. This guy actually gives me stuff until he decides he doesn't like me anymore, which is not yet. Okay, now I just need to grind up a little bit to get another level, and then at that point we might start trying to make runs at the next story boss, who is kicking my ass. So I'm not really looking forward to that.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna head out to the my friend. He's all the way out in Boise. Not really Boise, but
What
he's all the
Boise?
way out in Idaho.
Oh, really? Okay, that's gonna take all day, all fucking week.
Well, I'm gonna fly over there and spend the week seeing the baby. But I was also kind of hoping to check out Boise because I was thinking about moving to the West Coast. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that though.
It's not without its charm.
Boise or the West Coast?
I've never been to Boise. I'm talking about the West Coast. But, I mean, if you're going to do it, Boise's probably a pretty decent bet. Can't hurt.
Yeah. It's only like a few hours away from Seattle, right?
Sounds about right. I think that's...
Yeah, Santee, that's exactly my objective. I want to be able to see some of the sights of the West Coast, but I want to live in a literal pile of garbage. My objective is to avoid that. Oh, it's like 8 hours, right, guy?
I don't think it's 8, unless you're driving like unless you're driving a piece of garbage car, maybe. I think it's more than a few, though, now that I think about it.
Well, I was just thinking about moving over there because, you know, I have nothing really keeping me here, right?
Well, I mean, you don't?
I don't. I have a friend out there,
Okay.
you know, and I miss my parents and my brothers. But, you know, it's not. I'm single. I have really nothing to lose.
You can get work out there the same
know?
you could anywhere else.
Yeah, the place I'm going to be interning for says you can move around. So I'd be probably working at the same spot, just at a different office.
That's not a bad arrangement.
Yeah. So I can really think about living in really any city. So I might as well just start my life across the country. Why not? Get a completely fresh start on everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's true, right? I wouldn't have to pay for Sunday ticket to get all the Seahawks games.
Nowadays, is that even really a consideration, though, with how easy it is to pirate that?
Not really a consideration to move somewhere just so you can watch Seahawks, but, you know. It would be cool to see them in person.
I wonder what team most people in Idaho root for.
It's the Seahawks.
Because in Oregon, I think it's the Niners, because they kind of got their foothold in before the Seahawks were even slightly successful. But yeah, Idaho. I know Alaska is the Seahawks. Alaska loves the Seahawks.
Yeah. If only the Seahawks took more Oregon Ducks players. Or more,
Well, I mean, what percentage of Oregon players work out in the NFL? It doesn't feel like it's like a huge amount of NFL success because of their system.
I don't know about that. There's a lot of them that work out. A lot of really highly drafted guys from Oregon work out. Like, Penei Sewell is supposed to be really good right now, right? That's the top of my head.
Yeah, he's good, but like, Mariota didn't work out. I don't think their current quarterback is going to work out that well. I don't know if it's any
Yeah.
higher or lower than any other school, I guess. Herbert's obviously good. LeGarrette Blount was good for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Mm-hmm.
I was just about to say, Seattle should take more Pac-12 players in general, but they take guys, just not from Washington or Oregon.
Yeah, the way they've drafted the last couple of drafts, I'm not really terribly upset about. the approach they're currently taking. Let me see here. How many of those do I
Yeah,
have?
it's not really their fault. They're just doing BPA.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, they'll get a chance to draft some UW players next year.
Quite possibly. Haloti Nada was a good player from Oregon. For a long time, he was really good.
That's right, Kayvon Thibodeau.
Thibodeau was pretty good last year. I don't know if he's great yet, but maybe he's getting there.
Mm.
Buckner, oh
I
yeah.
was
Joey Harrington, wasn't he Oregon? That's one of the bigger busts ever.
gonna be honest, I don't even remember Joey Harrington.
He was like number 3 overall pick by the Lions, and he was bad. Um, was Alakai Smith Oregon? Or am I thinking of the wrong guy here? Okay.
Who is that really, really fast receiver that Oregon had?
Are you talking about the guy who did like the kick returns?
Maybe.
God, who was that? He got drafted by the Chiefs, I remember, but I can't remember his name. DeAnthony Thomas, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
DeAnthony Thomas. He was good, right?
I mean, he was a good kick returner. He wasn't really a good receiver.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I guess Oregon fans don't really care all that much.
Yeah, the best player in UW history was a colossal bust, but I don't think we care at all.
Who would you consider the best player in UW history?
It's got to be Steve Entman.
Oh.
It wasn't really his fault. He got hurt. He was going to be great, and then he suffered a massive career-ending injury, but still a bust.
I was about to say, if the one off the top of my head, maybe just because I'm younger, is Vita Vea, and he's like one of the
Yeah.
top 5 D tackles.
Entman was better than Vita Vea for sure. Like, Entman was the best player on the best team in the country by a pretty wide margin that season, I think.
Hmm. It was back during like the early 90s, right?
Right. And also, I think Entman went number 1 overall in the draft. That's how good he was. Warren Moon was really good. He's our best quarterback ever.
When did he get drafted? Or where did he get drafted?
He didn't get drafted, and he went to play in the CFL because he was black, and nobody really thought that was going to work. Basically.
Oh.
Yeah. And then he went to the NFL after winning 5 straight Grey Cups in the CFL and became one of the best quarterbacks ever.
Hmm. Is it good that it didn't end up a Niners fan?
I mean,
Yes, right guy.
in your lifetime, the Niners have not won a Super Bowl, so if you were a Niners fan, you would have known nothing but disappointment, I guess. Right? Being a Seahawks fan hasn't always been great, but you've been consistently relevant. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, and right now it's like the most fun I've had watching the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I was like too young to fully appreciate the Super Bowls and not enough into football. Like right now is I think the highest high the fan base has been on in a while.
This guy's such a piece of shit, man. Like, I can't, even with a human teammate, I can barely touch him. I'm almost tempted to hide in the corner and let my teammate do all the work. I want to do the Klay Thompson in the NBA Finals. The Niners have won 2 Super Bowls. Oh, yeah, that's right. The 89 team and then the 94 team. Okay.
Yeah, and they do have that hilarious time that they ended. You remember the game between the Packers and Niners that was like 9-6 or something like that?
Yeah.
This is the funniest shit ever.
Yeah.
Rodgers
Genuinely did not care.
That was maybe the worst implosion I'd ever seen up to that point. I'm not exactly sure how you could choke away a game as QB harder than he did.
Well, it was one of those things where the Packers had a terrible special teams unit the whole season, and you knew it was going to screw them over at some point. And then in that game, it did. Like, they had a blocked punt, returned for a touchdown. They had a field goal blocked. It was like, yep, your special teams screwed you. Of course it did.
Yeah.
It's like when a baseball team has a bad bullpen, and you just know, like, this is going to screw you over before the World Series. It just is.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I guess the Niners, no matter how logic, have had a much more memorable playoff win than we have, especially recently. You know.
Right. This guy is such an asshole. Jesus Christ, he's already dead. Oh my god, I can't even touch him. Like, I feel like this guy's not meant to be fought with a melee build almost. It's like they made this guy specifically for magic builds, which is horse crap because most people are going to use a melee build in this game. Come on, come on. Maybe we can clutch this out, but I can barely do damage to him. And he can do garbage like that. Okay, I'm just going to have to be ultra aggro and hope I get really lucky. No. Yeah, this guy's a sack of shit, dude. I need, like, the most OP Elden Ring teammate ever to help me beat this guy. I am never going to beat him on my own, and I'm never going to beat him without a really good teammate.
Or maybe you need to get a whole lot better at Elden Ring.
Yeah. That's not going to happen, though. But that guy is a piece of garbage. That guy is a dog rapist. On this point, there is consensus. I wish you could summon more than one teammate. That'd be hilarious, just triple teaming and quadruple teaming.
They'd have to make the bosses tougher. It'd make it like a World of Warcraft raid.
Basically, yeah.
Climate Pledge Arena. I forget which one is that.
That's what that used to be the Key Arena. That's where the Sonics played.
Oh, God.
They changed the name to Climate Pledge Arena.
A 100 years from now, I firmly believe it's gonna be people are gonna look back at this hysteria It's going to be like the Salem witch trials.
Well, to me, it's just kind of like it's a very odd notion to me that they think that human beings have enough power to really control something like climate. Like, if we just stop farting so much, we won't have to worry about climate change. Like, no, human beings are not powerful enough to overcome all the other forces at play here in something like climate change. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Oh, yeah, especially when you consider like individual human beings. Like even if human beings as a species can, like the sum total of what America can do is it's like a
God damn it, dude. He literally attacks me through the pillar.
that's horseshit.
Well, the good news is I basically have an unlimited number of summoning items, so it's not like I'm going to run out. Eventually I'll find the one teammate who's actually able to help me through this. But anyway.
Like and it's going to be the same thing. Sorry, with car parts too, you know? There's going to be people going to look at it as like a very bizarre cultural practice.
Yeah. And this era will be looked at very, very oddly.
Yeah. It's like scientific racism, you know? It's going to be in that same vein of weird pseudo-intellectual like just a weird thing people used to believe in.
No, I'm interested to see. Like, I hope I'm alive to see it in like 50 years to see how people look back at this era.
I'll definitely grow old enough to, you know, see, you know, the election of Donald Trump, you know, get mythologized like that.
Yeah, the movie they make about it, the Brexit movie. The George Floyd movie. That'll be a banger.
Yeah. But I suppose, like the opposite version of that scenario is that culture just moves even more towards that direction. But I don't know. I don't like to think that's going to happen.
Hard for me to believe that's the way this goes, but we'll see.
Maybe 50 years from now, it's going to be the pedo thing.
What, the minor attracted person?
Well, I guess it's the thing right now, but there's actually going to be like a legalization of pedophilia 50 years from now, if we continue down this path.
Dude, roll! Roll! Jesus Christ. Your life is literally on the line here. When I push the button for you to roll away, you roll away. Damn it.
Aren't the A's moving out of Oakland?
Yes. Dude, whoever designed this boss fight, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. This guy flails around. Like, it's almost impossible to land hits on him. I really don't understand what I'm supposed to do in this fight. Fuck any... Fuck whoever developed this fucking thing.
Mm.
Let me look around a little bit here.
Kind of based, right, guy?
Be
Kind of
avoided by
based.
staying under. You are gay. Why are you gay?
Oh, they're moving to Las Vegas. Ooh. Dang, what's next? The Warriors are gonna move to Las Vegas?
I think the Warriors are pretty well entrenched where they are. Especially now. Vegas is getting a basketball team of their own next year, I think. Yeah, next year. That's what they're saying. Not really, JS. Nothing really starts until the end of the month. Maybe there will be a little bit of stuff, but not in the way that you're thinking.
Stuff starts growing this week for college football, I think.
Yeah. That may be the case.
Yeah. So if you want to keep up with football, do that. No, it's not the same thing, but Vegas is growing, dude.
It's a cool place.
Yeah. Maybe I should just move to Nevada.
Go to the go to the Playboy Bunny Ranch. You could have sex with a porn star that Donald Trump had sex with at some point.
I'm gonna pass on that. I'm gonna pass. I do not wish to be associated with Trump like that ever. In fact, I don't think I would want to know him.
Oh, that might be a pretty interesting experience.
Meeting Donald Trump face to face.
Yeah. Like, he's definitely eccentric, but as far as super rich people go, he's like one of the least eccentric among them all. Like, if you look at the way like fucking Jack Dorsey. Have you seen Jack Dorsey lately? The guy who used to run Twitter? Like, that guy's a freak. And so many of the super rich people are like that. They just act really weird. He's probably one of the least weird of them all.
That's true. That's true when you put it into context like that. So he's not weird.
Oh, absolutely. Like, Warren Buffett is probably the least weird of all the super duper rich people. And he's still weird.
Yeah. This will be like the second time I'm talking about Mark Cuban, but he seems like kind of a normal guy.
Yeah, that one's not bad.
I don't know, the normal rich people you don't hear about, I guess.
Possibly true. I guess they end up taking submarines down to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah. But you never hear about like New York bankers' lives,
No! Fuck you. fuck this boss. Fuck anybody involved in the development of this boss. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. I have high HP is the thing, and he still basically one-hit KOs me if you count bleed damage.
I
Like,
mean, maybe, right, guy, but you don't hear about him. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, there's that one French guy who's married to Salma Hayek who you never really hear anything about, except for the fact that he's married to Salma Hayek. Like, he's super rich. Like, I think he's like top 15. Hey!
Or like, you know, you don't hear about like Carlos Slim.
I hear
know
about
that
a
is.
pretty decent amount, but he's not really weird, right?
Yeah, I was saying that's a different type of rich person. Can't imagine him being that like, I can imagine him being kind of eccentric, but oh, fuck that guy.
No, Carson, I've not seen The Flash yet. My friend who was going to hook me up, hit the website that he uses isn't up anymore, so he wasn't able to hook me up yet. So I'm waiting for it to come out on streaming, because I'm not going to see it in the theater. It doesn't look good enough to see in the theater, but it looks good enough to watch at home. The really, really obviously bad attempts to convince people the Flash was going to be really good were really weird. Like, they got, like, Tom Cruise to come out and say, this is one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's like, he definitely did not think that. There's no way Tom Cruise watched The Flash and was like, wow, this is amazing. This is a guy who won't even appear in superhero movies himself. He's not going to think the dying gasp of the DCEU is a masterpiece. There's just no way. I don't buy it.
Everything's a psyop. It's kind of crazy. You hear public sentiment turning around now to agreeing with Martin Scorsese.
Well,
whereas like people dislike Marvel movies now, and for good reason.
Well, that's just because the movies aren't as good. Like, I think the good movies are still good. I think that's still cinema. But the movies aren't as good now.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. You can't keep making good things forever.
Yeah, my brother had a very good term for it. He called it visual goyslop. I think that's a very accurate description. It's just like something you give to, if like you were designing a system to pacify the populace, you know, like if you're some 1984 style dictator and you were gonna give the people movies to watch, they'd be Marvel movies, right?
Well, we know what movies they showed in Nazi Germany, so I don't know if that's necessarily true. Like, you had movies like Triumph of the Will, that was basically required viewing. So there were movies that, the kind that you're talking about. Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
I don't know if Nazis were so much into... They're not that subtle. You know,
Like, wasn't Superman originally written as like a Jewish fantasy for someone to come along and like kill all the Nazis or something? Wasn't that like the original conception of the character?
I had not heard that.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, JS. Like, the Rotten Tomatoes score for Indiana Jones and The Flash are both pretty strong, but it seems like the general populace didn't like either movie that much. And I say that as someone who thought Indiana Jones was okay. I saw it a couple days ago.
Okay, I just thought of a good counterpoint, right?
Hmm.
We know what type of movies they showed in Nazi Germany and during Stalin's USSR, but also what type of movies are we watching now that are approved by the CCP?
Is it better than Temple of Doom? I don't think so. The thing with Temple of Doom is the special effects are so bad they do actually take away from the movie, I feel. Which I know is kind of a, to some extent, kind of a weak thing to say. But some of the special effects in Temple of Doom are just hideous. Um, but no, I don't think so. I think Temple of Doom is probably better. It's better than Crystal Skull, I think. It's not nearly as, like, schlocky, which I think in this case is a good thing. Crystal Skull was way too schlocky. Like the scene where Shia LaBeouf is swinging through the trees like Tarzan with the family of monkeys. It's like, you went way too far. But whatever. Oppenheimer and Mission Impossible 7 will save the summer.
I'll wait to see if people like Oppenheimer.
It looks really good. I'm optimistic.
It definitely. I love history shit, so if it's good, I'll see it. It'll be very interesting to see which gets higher box office, Oppenheimer or Barbie.
Yeah. You know, sometimes I wonder, like, there are certain things in that keep getting movies made about them, like World War II, right? Things like World War II, and now, you know, you're to a certain extent seeing it with things like the Iraq War. You know, things that get a lot of movies made about them. And I was talking to Snacks yesterday, thinking about the things that for some reason don't get movies made about them. Like, is there really like a good movie depiction of the fall of Constantinople? I don't think so.
It's not part of the cultural conscience for Westerners.
It's maybe the second most important thing that's ever happened in recorded history, though.
That's a good point.
Like, how could there not be one movie, a good movie like Gladiator, or even something like the Brad Pitt Troy about the fall of Constantinople? Like, it's not like the Battle of Thermopylae or the Achilles legend was a huge part of Western culture either, but they still have a 300 movie and they still have a Troy movie.
The Greek and Persian Wars get a lot attributed to Western culture, I think. Like, that's looked at as part of the heritage, you know? Because they went on to have such a large influence on Rome you know.
No! You cocksucker! Oh my
I thought
god.
you were gonna win that time.
Like, literally when he's about to lose, he just starts spazzing out until I die. It's like... Some of these boss fights... I don't... Like, this is why Sekiro's better than Elden Ring. Sekiro has no bullshit fights. Every fight in Sekiro is like... As long as you play the way the developers intended, you will win. Like, there is no such thing as, like, horseshit in Sekiro. It's hard, but if you know what you're doing, you will do it.
Mm-hmm.
This, which is true of every other FromSoft game, there are just some boss fights where the guy just starts spazzing out. And it's like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna die. Because this boss decided he didn't want to get beaten. Especially in a game like this where you can do a ranged build. But if you don't do a ranged build, you're just fucked against most of these bosses. Wait, where did I...
Yeah, you just have to get good RNG.
Yeah, or a really good teammate, which is kind of what I'm hoping will happen here. Wait a minute, where did I come from?
Came from over to the right.
Okay, let's see here. Alright. Like, already can guarantee I'm never beating this boss without help, so I'm not even going to bother trying anymore. We're summoning help every single time we go in there. Yeah, Carson, I actually think that'll be his biggest impact this year, honestly. I don't think he's going to play enough on offense. Yeah. Apparently they're making the sequel to Gladiator later this year, JS. Which is an example of a movie that depicted that era and did it very well. I don't know if that's going to herald a bunch of similar movies, but it's I don't know. I was just thinking about it. Like, we don't have a really good Napoleon movie. They're coming out with one later this year. But, like, Napoleon's one of the most important historical figures ever. And we don't have a really good movie with him.
Hmm.
There's something I was thinking about the other day. Like, do we have a really good movie depiction of, like, Julius Caesar? Or...
I don't think so.
Yeah, like, they made the Caligula movie, but wasn't that, like, a bomb? Like, nobody liked it because it was too gross and weird.
Caligula's gross and weird. There should be a movie about the fall of the Roman Republic, though. It is a very interesting topic to think about just in general.
Yeah. Like, a few years ago, actually, I think this was like 6 or 7 years ago, me and my dad watched a movie called The Promise, which starred Oscar Isaacs. And it was a movie about the Turkish genocide of the Armenians, right?
Sore spot, as always.
Yeah. And my dad was like, who are the Armenians? Why are they genociding them? Are these the Nazis? And it's like, no, this is before the Nazis. And he's like, well, who are these people? I've never heard of any of this. And like, it kind of feels like things like that in America are basically like, they don't talk about it very much. Like, I didn't really learn anything about the fall of Constantinople growing up, you know? These things aren't talked about.
We don't get told about a lot of historical injustices. My granddad had to flee his homeland because of civil conflict in Syria. So that's why
I
I'm
don't
here.
know. Oh, JS, Russell Crowe's not in the Gladiator sequel. I can't remember who it is, but it's not. It's not Russell Crowe. I know the original plan for the sequel to Gladiator was to have Maximus become a time traveler who would go to like different times and like try to save the world or something. It was like Quantum Leap or something. I really hope they're not doing that, but I don't know what else they could do. Yeah, JS, I saw the trailers for that movie. The Exorcist movie with Russell Crowe. It did not look good. I guess he needs money. That's really all I can say about that. Wait a minute, where'd my teammate go? Oh, he
He
just abandoned
died.
me. He died on the first phase? What a loser. Okay, okay, if you're gonna die during the second phase, that's fine, but you die in the first phase? Why are you wasting my time with letting me summon you? Okay, kill me, dude. Just kill me.
At least that's what I saw. I was watching this picture and it said he died.
Yeah, somehow I missed that. I was actually able to solo his first phase by myself. So, why are you dying, you little bitch?
I don't know. He's just stupid. I'm trying to think of one good historical event that should get a movie adaptation.
Thinking about it is weird to me that there is no good movie about the fall of Constantinople. Like,
In the end,
that's
it was
a big
kind
deal.
of anticlimactic. They just left the gates open and they just came in. So that might be part of the problem with it.
You can make up the ending. That's what they did in Troy.
Good point.
That's what they do in all those movies, right? Like, it's basically impossible for a movie based on history to really follow it accurately because real life doesn't make for a good movie because it doesn't match dramatic patterns. It doesn't fit a three-act structure. Like the biopic they did about Freddie Mercury a few years ago switched the order of all the events because the actual events, the way they occurred in real life, would not make for a good movie because it doesn't match those. It doesn't match the cadence of a movie with, like, the journey, the climax, the denouement. So they have to switch things up.
Mm-hmm.
The Elvis movie, the Elton John movie, like all these movies, even the things that are relatively innocuous and not all that dramatic, like they're still gonna switch it up.
Well, biopics like that are kind of stupid,
Yeah.
which is why I'm skeptical about Oppenheimer. But
Yeah, I
It's
mean, the
not the
thing
same
is,
thing, I suppose.
that's not a biopic about Oppenheimer. It's a movie about the creation of the first atomic bomb. It's not, I don't think it's going to have like Oppenheimer's whole life. It's just going to be that event, which I think is probably better.
Yeah, they kind of should, because Oppenheimer's a weird ass dude.
Yeah. Like in Troy, they made it so that Achilles died during the battle after the Trojan horse thing worked, right? But
Hmm.
in the actual Iliad, he died well before the Trojan horse in a very kind of anticlimactic way. Now, granted, that's the story of, Homer's Odyssey and all that is fictional anyway, so maybe it's not the end of that. Maybe that's not really that big of a deal. But it's still changing things to match the cadence of a Hollywood blockbuster. Big Country, wasn't there that
Yeah,
movie Selma? Are you talking about the original Martha King, like the one from several
Martin
hundred years ago?
Luther.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Martin Luther.
that'd be interesting.
Hmm.
Um, Jason said the creation of Israel. I would agree if there was a depiction of the biblical era, Israelites first heading into the promised land. That would be very interesting.
A few years ago,
Or
they made a movie about Noah, of Noah's Ark, and I don't think it did very well. So shit like that doesn't seem to play.
yeah, could do
Yes.
a movie about the rise of Cyrus the Great. That's somebody most Americans don't know about. I think it could make a very interesting documentary. What you really need is a historical conflict that has a nice message of like good and evil that's very clear. You know?
Yeah, what's a Genghis Khan movie? Didn't John Wayne play Genghis Khan in a movie one time or something? And like that's it? Like I don't know, it's just kind of weird that Hollywood doesn't ever go to these clearly lucrative wells because for whatever anybody wants to say about how controversial Passion of the Christ was, it made a ton of money. Like if someone made a really good high budget blockbuster movie about like Cain and Abel, there's reason to believe it would do extremely well.
There could be one about the destruction of Israel by the Romans. There could be one about the conversion of Constantine to Christianity.
Like Passion of the Christ is one of the most violent movies ever, but you had tons. Like I'm not kidding. I remember reading about this at the time. Tons of stories about these, Christian families taking their 6-year-old children to watch it because they considered it to be an important experience, despite the fact that it was more violent than just about any movie that's come out since. You know?
Yeah.
So you can make a lot of money if you're willing to tap into that kind of stuff. Hey, Marsh. God damn, this guy dies immediately every goddamn time.
I have the perfect movie. Okay.
Okay.
There should be. Let's do a podcast about this. I think this is really interesting. Christopher Columbus his first voyage to America.
Huh. That would be very hard to make now, because we're all supposed to think he's evil or something.
Yeah, but I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, the absolute balls of steel that man had.
Mm-hmm.
Sailing off into nothing like that. I cannot imagine a modern person ever doing that.
Yeah, you could make it almost like a two-parter, because the fall of Constantinople was the reason why people like Christopher Columbus actually sailed to the New World, when you think about it.
If we could, you could make it like a collection of short stories
Mm-hmm.
of some like the most impactful events in human history. You could do the fall of Constantinople. You could do Christopher Columbus's voyage. You could do you need one from Asia.
I don't know. It's just something that I've thought about lately.
Yeah.
Because movies are bombing lately. Moist Critical made a video about this the other day. Like, a lot of movies are not doing well financially, so you got to try to do something different. Hacksaw Ridge was a movie based off a true story that seemed to hug the material very closely. And the things they took out were things that they took out because they thought that people wouldn't believe that it really happened.
Hmm.
Like, there was a Japanese sniper that had Desmond Dawes in his sights like 12 times, and every time he tried to shoot him, his gun jammed. So they took that out of the story because, like, well, nobody's going to believe that, even though it really happened.
Yeah, or we could do like Full Metal Jacket. Like you could do a fictionalization of something that really happened. You know, like the Vietnam War, and picked just a few people going through that experience.
Mm-hmm.
They could be entirely fictional.
We'll get this son of a bitch eventually. Oh, god damn it. I thought she was doing something. Like, I think the only movies released so far this year that are, like, significant box office successes were, like, Spider-Verse, you know, that animated Spider-Man thing they did, and
Yeah.
Guardians 3, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, because that movie's actually pretty good. And I guess to a certain extent the 10th Fast and Furious movie, but that wasn't, like, unexpected. Yeah,
Dune Part 2?
We'll see about that one, because the first one never was straight to HBO Max, but it's got a chance.
I don't know. I saw it in IMAX. I really love that movie.
Yeah, that's a good movie. I'll definitely watch part 2.
Yeah, in general, you're right.
Yeah, I thought Guardians 3 was good. I thought that deserved to be successful. But, like, I guess Disney has made, outside of Guardians 3, they've made, like, 8 straight movies that are financial failures. because you have like Ant-Man, you have Indiana Jones, you have Little Mermaid. Like, you gotta try something different.
Nobody wants to see the live action Disney shits.
Well, that's the
And really,
thing.
if the Avengers should have just continued on more normally. Like they got rid of every important character.
Well, they were sick of paying them. Robert Downey Jr. was making $100 million a movie because he got in on the ground floor. They were like, hey, we have actors we could only pay like $2 million a movie. Let's start using only them.
I suppose that's true, but I don't know how they're going to get people to show up to the next Avengers at this rate.
Well, they were good. They bet everything on Jonathan Majors, and then he fucked up. So now, like, they gotta call an audible, which is really bad because they were betting on Jonathan Majors being their next big villain. And he was pretty good in the Ant-Man thing. So it's kind of too bad it didn't work out. I think that may have actually been kind of fun.
What did he fuck on? I'm not.
He,
I'm-
right after Ant-Man 3 came out, he got, I think it was like domestic violence, and Disney immediately dropped him.
Oh well, R.I.P. Disney.
Like, they didn't try to do the Ezra Miller thing, which, you know, to Disney's credit, they did not try to Ezra Miller this. Disney deserves very little credit for anything these days, but they deserve credit for that. Like, the fucking studio head of Warner Brothers or whatever was like, the Flash movie is so good it'll make you forget about the fact that our lead actor is a pedophile. It's like, that's not a good thing, you fucking idiot.
Did he actually say something close to that?
Yeah, I think it was like, yeah, it was something like, the Flash movie is so good it'll make you forget all about the controversy. It's like, yeah, that's not a good thing.
Oh my goodness. Oh, they really did bring out all the stops.
Yeah. Okay, stop flailing around. You're dead. People should know when they're conquered. There we go. Suck the biggest dick known to mankind, dude. You are an enemy that is impossible to kill with melee builds. Hell yeah, let's go. Remembrance of the Black Blade. I will never feel bad for using summons to kill that asshole.
Congratulations, man.
Fuck yeah. We are getting close to the end here, although there's still a ton of things I could do in this game if I wanted to. We'll see. But we are getting close to the end here, in theory. In fact, assuming the next few story bosses are not, like, as hard as that one, it's conceivable I could beat this game next time I play it. Anyway.
I think, on that note, I'm going to go to bed.
Alright, well, you have a good rest of your night, and I will talk to you in the near future.
Is unbound.
Hey, Sierra, man. Nice talking to you.
No problem. You too.
Yeah.
And the lands between us.
Here we go. We got a big cutscene.
Death's dark fate. But the flames.
You know, they should have casted the guy who played the villain in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 to play Kang. Would have worked out so much better. I played Alan Wake and the other Alan Wake back like 10 plus years ago. I liked them. I didn't love them. They were good.
You'll be Elden Lord yet.
I don't feel the need to play them again, but if they make the sequel, Alan Wake 2, I'll probably play it eventually. They're pretty decent games. Cool ideas. All right. Wait, did we just beat the game? I don't... I didn't think that was the final boss. Wait a minute. Did I beat the game? Yeah, okay. We did not beat the game yet. I didn't think we did. Hmm. I don't want to fight in the Colosseum. Okay, here we go. Lindell Ashen Capital. Alright. I'm gonna go grind up 20k runes so I can level up again. Lanedale, capital of... Oh, I've been there before. That's not a new place. No. You're talking about Melania, right? Big country? I know about Melania. I'm probably not going to fight her. I'm not really interested in that. But I know she's optional. But I seriously doubt I'll be able to do it. But I know who Melania is. Although my friend beat Melania on his first try and said it was a piece of cake. His build was, I guess, just like perfect for fighting her or something. God, these things are so ugly. All right. So we beat two really bullshit bosses today. So that's pretty good progress. I'm pretty happy about that. And I didn't do a lot of the heavy lifting on either boss, but whatever. Both bosses are clearly designed for ranged attack users, which I am not. So what do you want from me? God damn it. Stop spitting on me, motherfucker. Oh my god, I'm all the way over here and they're still spitting at me. Jesus Christ, dude. Let me pull up my goddamn map. I still can't pull up my fucking map. Okay, thank you. Now it doesn't matter, though. I may as well just fucking walk there. Alright, guys. I'm going to turn the stream off after I get this level here. That'll be it for the night. I might jump on Final Fantasy 16 later. We'll see. Oh. Yeah, that's what women do. Oh, these guys only give me 5 each. Not even worth it. You guys can live. Ooh. That might actually put me over the edge here. Yes, it will. Okay. Okay, real quick before I get off here, I want to see if I can kill this guy yet. Last time I didn't even really get all that close. Oh, I'm doing pretty decent damage to him, I guess. Oh yeah, this is going quite well. Even if I don't do it this time, I'll definitely be able to do it at my level. $80,000, huh? That was worth it. Alright, we can grind up one more level, I guess. Let's go get it done. The second katana is pretty nice, admittedly. It is a little awkward not having a shield, but I think it's worth it. Alright. That's pretty good, though. Okay, there's maybe one more thing. Uh, I would not mind finding. Okay. While I'm here, before I leave, let's try. Go here. I want one more golden seed so I can get one more flask, and then at that point, I'm feeling really good about where I sit. What are these? No way. There's no way I got this thing. No way. Did I actually already pick this thing up? Wow. How could I have possibly found this? Huh. That is shocking to me. I am genuinely shocked that I actually found that one. I mean, they should be, right, Santi? They deserve it. The Kings are, like, legitimately good. The Kings are, like, a... I don't think they can, like, win the title this year, but they're kind of the most fun sleeper. Okay. Let's try this. Let's try this. If this doesn't work, though, I think I'm just gonna call it. Like, this would be really weird. There might be some consideration I'm not even thinking about that makes it so I can't find them. Yeah, this is weird. I mean, I found a lot of them, but I don't think I found this many. Um, it's fine. Okay, so here's the tree. Oh yeah, this place. Oh, that's really nice. Where are those even coming from? Oh, I see. Aha! We found one, boys. Excellent. I don't. What is this? Oh, really? I forgot to touch it, huh? Oh, that's because it got teleported away. All right. Okay, so I know that there's an optional boss you can get to from here. I'm not going to do it right now, but I am probably going to try it because you get a ton of runes from it, like almost enough for 3 levels. Alright, we have 13 flasks now, by the way. Okay. We made really good progress tonight, guys. I think we're close to the end of the game, as near as I can tell. Again, it's a little unclear. Alright, guys, thanks for hanging out. I might do a little Final Fantasy 16 later tonight, but I'm not sure. See you guys later.